Here we have our lower image is of Lukas Imhof, who is live and direct from northern Switzerland. And he is, are you in the Imhof building?
Yeah, exactly.
We're also getting lovely messages from various people. The Imhof Community Centre is it Thurgau Canton or St. Gallen?
Thurgau.
Which is on the kind of northern edge of Switzerland.
Yeah, very close to the border to Germany.
Yeah, and I have been doing a big project which I'll mention in a little while about Swiss hardwood and various timber engineering and timber materials innovation happening in Switzerland. And I came across this project which uses engineered ash and showcases engineered ash. And since at the same time I was hassling people like Matthew Baird and Zoe Nicholson about why were they sending all the roadside ash dieback to be burnt, I kind of began to think, well, it'd be really good to show a project where ash was being used in a contemporary way to kind of pointer, I guess, at what could happen here with roadside ash, maybe not, or with other low quality hardwoods from the region. And in a few minutes I'll get out a stat of how much wood is going to be burnt. But in the meantime, Lukas is going to talk us through his Imhof Community Centre project and walk us around it, I hope. So over to you. Thank you so much for arriving. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Lewis.
From Switzerland. Thanks for your interest. First of all, I would like to apologize for my English. I'm able to converse in English over dinner, but I'm not very familiar with technical vocabulary of building and construction. So I maybe read some parts of my speech, and I guess a little bit later when we go through some parts very quickly. So I will show the presentation. So do you see that now?
We do this. I was wondering, is there any chance that you could make it a little bit larger on the screen for us? At the moment you're equally sized with the image.
Oh.
Whereas earlier you were much smaller and we got a bigger image. So I don't know if
Yeah, wait a second. I can try that. Go to Zoom for a second. Right here.
Oh, is it that one there? So you've got side-to-side standard.
So I guess now you should have the same setting as in the test run, right?
That's it. Yeah, perfect. So we can see we're perfectly now.
Okay, great. And you see the presentation also?
We've got just the presentation on the full screen, so unfortunately we don't have you, but we've got more of them.
Okay, that's okay. So, well, I will talk about 15 minutes or something about this project. You can see on the screen now. I'm in the building right now, and after my presentation I will walk you around with a camera. I have words, and I will show you some details from the building. But this is the second part. I'm sitting right here where this woman stands now. So what you can see here is an aerial view of the Imhof complex. It dates back to the 70s of the last century and situated on a hill above Lake Constance in the border to Germany. And this location was very important for the way the building is made. It's a glass house made out of wood, and it has this beautiful view you will see later, maybe. It's maybe also important to know it's a home for people with care needs, and the way these people are treated is quite different when it was in the 70s. So now the task was to build an open facility with for like a symbol for an open society community. So, an important information you have to know about the building is the fact that this entire facility was built in the spirit of anthroposophical architecture. Anthroposophy, as far as I know, is not very common in England. It's, I guess there's something like the Campion movement, which is very similar. But something interesting about this movement is it has like an own architecture. It's an organic expressionist architecture which was developed like 100 years ago. And even if I'm not an anthroposophist myself, I could not ignore, of course, this Gesamtkunstwerk here, and had to find a way to deal with this architecture and the language of architecture here. You can see here that this specific architecture, circled red, where it's the community building I'm in now. Let me take you very briefly through the building, through the floor plans. This is the basement. This is basically ventilation techniques and storage. This is the ground floor level, lower level, which part sinks into the terrain, and part is above ground. This is where a huge kitchen is located. This kitchen is really huge because to work with people with care needs a lot of space, and this will be important also for the rest of the building. And here you can see the upper floor, the main purpose of the entire building, except for the access core on the right side of the building. This space has little disturbance. Part of its interior, part is exterior, which is also important for the wooden structure. And the architectural space basically consists only of columns and this wooden structure. Here you can see that this is the heated part, and you have 1/3 which is outside, which is very important later. I'll show you. This is the eastern facade of the building. You can see that this wooden structure is situated on a concrete basement, which is sharpened to the terrain, so the wooden structure can stand on a plain surface, on a straight surface. So now I come back to this kitchen I mentioned, and this is what we got for the architectural competition when we had to make a design proposal. And this is the scheme shows the flows and the functional connections in the kitchen, which occupies the whole ground floor. So we found this complexity scary to design, and so we said we need a space without columns or supports or anything, so we can organize this kitchen freely and in a perfect way. So this was the first idea for the building, or for the statics of the building, emerging from our fear that we will not be able to organize this kitchen. It's a structure. The white part is a wooden structure. It's called a system called Virondale beams. It's from a Belgian engineer, I guess, in the 20s or something. A lot of bridges are built in this with these so-called Virondale beams, And we tried to use the Viranda beam in a way we can use the openings of the beam to generate an architectural space. So these Viranda beams, they have a very specific design language with this knot, with a lot of force is in it. So the first Viranda beams were produced in concrete, of course, and in steel. Until today, there is no wooden Viranda beam, I guess. But this is the additional idea of the static structure of this building. And now back the link to the anthroposophic architecture. Here you can see a room in this strange building I showed you before, the Goetheana. It's a concrete building, designed by Steiner himself. And as you can see, the language of this building, and coming from that building, the whole architecture of the anthroposophic movement was very strongly influenced by the shape of this early concrete statics and the knots, the concrete engineers built in the 20s, like the bridge I showed you before. And you can see one of the first renderings we made for the competition. And now you can see that this concrete structure, the concrete Viranda beams become wood. And this has something to do with this terrace on the right side, because we wanted to have the structure, we needed to have the structure, so Viranda beam going through from the warm parts of the building to the cold parts, which is not possible, or no longer possible these days in steel or concrete. So the idea was to change this concrete beams into wood. So, of course, there were other reasons which were more like the design and atmosphere, but the first idea was to make a concrete beam in wood. So. And now here you can see the first counts of the timber engineer to dimension the lower part of the beams, which were very high. They had a huge influence on the building, on the height of the building, and it was, to be honest, also very expensive. And later in the process, we realized that the kitchen designer told us that he's quite used to columns, and it's not a problem to have some columns in his kitchen. So that was the point, the first point when we talked about hardwood, and the second one when we gave up the Viranda beam. So you can see now what happened. This is not a Viranda beam anymore, but you see that some parts of the design specifics of the Viranda beam still are here, changed a little bit in form, and you can also see that maybe you cannot see it, but I tell you that this structure is self-supporting. It can even withstand earthquakes without bracings. And since the concrete core for the elevator is on very far away on the right angle of the building, we needed to make the structure in a way that it's that the torsion of the statics can be held in these beams of the supporting structure. So here you can see another angle of the building. There is some change in the structure in the southern part of the building. Here the static works differently. I will show you that later. Here you can see how the static works. You can see on the right, the change of the system, which is also very important. Was also very important for the choice of the hardwood, because this structure on the southern part of the building wouldn't work in fear. This one, which is circled red here, you can see that there's a change of direction in the beams. You can also see that the beam follows the moment pattern of the cantilever, which forms the beam. And this part of the building wasn't possible to build. Well, would have been possible, but would have become very thick in another wood than hardwood. So we discussed with the timber engineer which hardwood we can use, and that was beech and ash and oak. Oak was too expensive, and I don't like beech, so it became ash. So it also has a lot of qualities we can use for this building in a very good way. I will go a little faster. We'll show you this knot, the knot connections, the thickening of the ends, which comes really from the Willendale beam, and which is visually intentional. It makes room for these connections here. You can see very special connections. You cannot see anything from the outside. It's sort of glued-in threaded rods, and another part is called megan connectors. And they are both responsible for the stiffening due to the stiffings of this knot. So we don't need anything else to make the building stable, but this knot. Here you can see, and that's an interesting detail, maybe the simplicity coming from that, the change from the concrete to wood, because you can see here on the upper part of this drawing, this is the outside of the building, and on the lower part is the inside of the building, and in between, just very simple, is the glazing, which doesn't need anything you don't need to cut the beam like you would have to do it. It would have been concrete. You can see the basement of this structure. Here is where the simplicity went away a little bit, because in the end it was quite complicated to find a basis, a base for this column. It works on the outside, on the inside. So you can see here this part on the outside is made out of steel, and in the inside it could have been made of ash. We wanted to show that there is something different, so we used oak, black painted oak in there. Unfortunately, it's nearly impossible to see it because the floor is a little bit too high. And here you can also see that the simplicity of this one detail I showed you is not really the reality in build. Now there are not much things like sunscreens and ventilation and everything. But still this building now is like 30 years old, and all this knots and the columns coming from the inside of the building going to the outside, they still work. It stands, doesn't drain into the building. Here you can see the room still empty. We made also the acoustic ceiling of ash. We integrated the lights, we integrated some technical parts, so you nearly don't see anything but the ash. Here now a picture. And one detail I think I can tell you something about is we also developed some furniture for this building, which is also made in ash, which is quite common for furniture, but this facility wanted to produce the furniture by itself. They wanted a stacking, a chair and a folding table and we didn't like what we found on the market. So we developed these chairs, which are prefabricated parts, highly pre-saddling CNC technology, and these people here with special need, they can do it and stick it together. So it's on one side it's very high technology, and the other side it's very simple. Single word. You can see a detail of the table, so it's foldable, and you can put pen or something on top of each other, so you can take it away. We developed that with parts of the boat technology and music boxes on the right. And here now you can see these two columns we needed in exchange for the beyond flag, so you really see it's not a big deal. And you can see that sometimes from wrong ideas, still some great design can evolve. This part of my speech now, I will try to switch the camera now. I hope it works. Unfortunately, it's dark outside now because we have, it's a little bit later here in Switzerland and Great Britain. As you can see, I had to improvise a little Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi switches off at 9 here at this place, so I cannot walk too far, and I will try that now. I hope you hear me.
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay, so now I'll show you a detail. We had struggled with this black glue. They only had black glue for ash for the outside structure. Now we developed the glue, but this is something was due to the very early use of this ash wood. We have this. I still don't like it, black joints. The wood itself, it's nice, it's clean, and as you can see here in the corner, these people, we could take care very well of the building. We drive around with this chairs and everything. And that was also a part which was important for us to choose ash because it's hard. If it would have been fear, this structure, which is basically is the architecture, would have been destroyed, I guess, in the use. Now you can see the furniture. I will take you outside, and on the I hope the vibe is far. Part of it, now is changing. The way it is staircase to the ground.
Could we ask you questions?
Of course. I'm hearing you, but I have to come to the computer to hear, but that's okay. Wait, I can.
It's fantastic, this Zoom world. But I feel that we should be there, really, or you should be here. Well, we should be experiencing the building in our bodies. But thank you so much for walking us or talking us through your project. I just want to ask if people have questions now for Lukas. And then after Lukas, we can talk the questions to any of the other speakers. Yes, Andrew.
Lucas, can you talk a little bit more about the joints that you've used between the glulam members?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, not very well. I guess you have to go where it's microphone.
Lucas, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear very well
This
now.
is Andrew Holloway.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how the joints are made between the glulam frame members, the rear and wheel truss members?
I'm sorry, I guess you have to repeat that. That's where my technical vocabulary is a little bit.
Can you tell us more about carpentry joints, the connections between the rear and wheel beam members?
Yeah, right. You're talking about this part?
Yes.
Yeah, there is an opening in the beam cut from the upper part of the beam, and there is it's like a screw which is glued into the wood, and then on the other side of this in the column there is what's the word, the opposite part of the screw. So you can, with a special tool, you can from the roof, from here, oh Jesus, that doesn't work. You can screw these two parts together. I don't know. Maybe I go back to this picture the engineer gave us. Yeah, do you see that now?
Yeah, can you enlarge?
Do you see these green lines?
Yes.
These are glued in, glued in steel parts, and with this. Sorry, I guess I really cannot explain that in English. It's really too complicated for me. It's an invention by Neue Holzbau. They invented that especially for knots like this.
This is just kind of scary. Who works with and scary. You know how to talk?
Neue Holzbau, and what was the other thing?
And Professor Ernst Gehrig.
No, I do not have, never have contact with him directly. We developed that with Holzbau, which was the timber engineer, and they developed that with Neue Holzbau, and I do not know exactly what Neue Holzbau worked together with, or whom they worked together with. I just know that they more or less invented the important parts of these ash structures, but even though we had a lot of other things to deal with building this house, so unfortunately we didn't have the time to go too often to Neue Holzbau, which I would have liked to, but we only have been there 2 or 3 times, so maybe this is really a question that Neue Holzbau could answer, and I guess next time maybe you should also invite the Neue Holzbau, I guess.
I invited them.
Yeah.
Are you aware of many or any other engineered ash buildings that have arrived since your building or alongside, parallel?
No, not yet. They are not yet published, I guess. I heard from Colbert they are using hybrid structures a lot now, where some beams are made out of ash and some are made of cheap pollution here. And we are working together on some buildings now, and we are just, for them it's quite common now to say, so let's do this beam in ash and the rest of the structure in steel. So we're mixing it, I guess, but I've never heard about a building which is completely in ash like this one. And to be honest, I mean, not every part of the building would have had to be in ash. It's of course also an architectural decision to make everything in ash. A lot of these columns, to be honest, would have been in steel. So if the owner of this building wouldn't have been like quite enthusiastic about this building, I guess it would never have been completely in ash.
Has it changed you working with students in the sense, so far you looking to work with this again, or possibly not? It changed a lot for me, because I learned a lot, of course, and I learned that there is a development in this area which is really fast. I have to talk to my engineers every 2 months, and every time I'm talking something new, and he said, no, that would have been possible, now we developed this and that. So I see that the fast-changing part of architecture now is in fact constructing even more in that digitalization of something. Okay, well, thank you so very much for this experiment. Lukas wanted to visit us here, but he was unfortunately 2,000 meters up looking at a mountain hostel project somewhere in the Swiss Alps last night, and therefore couldn't make the journey. But thank you so much. Do you folks have other questions of both? Well, we've got questions for Lukas, but also other questions for the other speakers. Brian.
Shall I speak to the microphone?
Is it to yeah? Who is it to? Is it to people here, or is it to
Lukas?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm thinking of the steel porcelain frame when I looked at your cylinder trucks. How does that compare? How does timber, ash compare with steel in terms of fire? And I kind of wondered about the kind of regulations in Switzerland and about the cost, ash. So versus steel. So do you find it difficult to justify timber buildings?
Not in this case. To be honest, there is nearly no steel in Switzerland. I heard in but here steel is only used in industrial buildings. It's really only used in industrial buildings. Basically, so steel was never a question. The second part of the question, the power regulations. The power regulations in Switzerland, this is one little portion, not being in the EU, like you, but we have our own power regulations, and they are very strongly influenced by the industry of timber and wood production. They have a very strong lobby in politics. So our fire regulations are really, really made for wooden buildings. So here, I guess, no problem. I think this was the easiest part, the fire regulations. This building was really the easiest part. And the cost, of course, well, it was also we were a little bit lucky in different ways. One of it was, of course, also sad with the ashes dying and the wood was cheap. Another part of politics in this area of Switzerland is about for the building, was interested in experiments and wooden buildings. They wanted to push that. So from this part, there was never, this thing was never questioned. There was a lot of questions, for example, about this block, which is expensive, but never